Hey everyone, I just wanted to take a moment to thank Avinity Media for helping make the Alpha Club a reality. Check out more of their work with featured artist Mizzy Mans and his latest single Loner, streaming now on every major platform.
There's a marching band here.
Wait, so were you on the road that they were marching on?
Yeah, so
Oh,
I
Lord.
almost went into the parade because how the street was set up. It was at a T intersection, and I was about to turn into the main parade because they didn't have an officer or anything there to tell me to stop.
Okay.
Um, so I was about to turn, and then I looked, and there's a marching band, and I was like, I don't think I'm supposed to turn here. So that's pretty much how I almost ended up part of the Veterans Day parade
Well,
in my little mail truck.
how fitting since you are a service member. So,
It would have been more fitting had I been able to watch the Veterans
The
Day
Veterans Parade.
instead of delivering Miss Sue's 30 Amazon packages she wanted next day delivery.
yeah.
It wasn't too bad though. We got done at like 3:30. We would have gotten done around noon or 1. But our rural side, the carriers who go outside the city limits, we've been having staffing problems with them. So they only had like 3 people show up today.
Mm,
So we had to go help them after we were done with our shift.
yeah. Oh. Oh, if it would have done it through there.
I'm a little late today, but so yeah, this is our first official guest on the podcast, mail carrier Mr. Morris. As you can tell, this is not a very high budget show, so we did in fact steal the local postman. I'm sure he wanted to go back to work to his family, but here he is.
I don't know where I am. They just said, hey, we'll give you $5 if you come in here and talking to this funny looking Mike. And I was like, well, that's more than the post office pays me.
Yeah. Well, that was a great, very fast and energetic intro from Mr. Timo over there. He is currently walking back and forth. He will be joining us shortly, I think. I hope. I don't know. To be honest, we're just kind of guessing. He's got a lot to do, so.
Did he eat his chicken yet?
I've got no idea. Anyways, yes, Mr. Eric E.E. Morris.
E-girl enthusiast.
There it is, right there. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, right here. So let's dive down that a little bit, actually. I'm kind of curious. How did that become a thing? Like into like today's world now? That's like a very common thing now. People talking about like e-girls and stuff.
The internet is capable of many magical feats through the power of memes. I think we're just seeing the 21st resurgence of the emo phase from like, you know how we were all in middle school and even back in the 90s, they had like that punk phase. Oh, make room for John.
Yeah, where you're gonna have to scoot the mic into like towards the middle of you two. Don't worry.
I'll sit over here and then John can sit there.
You guys will just have to kind of move it back and forth. What are you dropping? Oh.
You're ruining the recording session.
No, this is pretty typical. This is actually the most organized I think we've done yet. I'm kidding.
Steven only lets me out of my room to record podcasts or do anything podcast related, so I'm using the little time I have to eat a meal, get dressed, and wash my clothes.
Yes. Well, the thing is, he's not ready for the public yet.
John?
Yeah. No, he's not.
He looks good enough to me.
Not those boots.
Yikes.
Backstory on the boots. We didn't cover it in the Halloween episode. However,
No, we talked about.
we talked about how I vomit all over the subway, but including the subway, I managed. No, I did throw up on my shirt, didn't I? Because I threw it out.
You did because you threw the shirt away.
Yeah. So I also threw up on my boots, and they have been sitting outside on the porch for 2 weeks, week and a half. But they're clean now. So. And it's raining right now, so they will get even more clean.
There you go.
That's
There's logic right there.
It's a sustainable, eco-friendly washing.
Yes. We love the environment here.
So
Back to the e-girls.
I want to take one quick sidebar before we get to the e-girls.
No worries.
I need a quick, like, 30-second recap of y'all's Halloween.
Oh, okay. Well, I can run this real quick. So we decided this is probably not going to be 30 seconds.
Refer to episode 10.
Yeah, yeah. Why don't you fucking listen, man? No. So to recap, it was very hectic. There was a lot going on. We started in Monmouth, New Jersey, Monmouth University. We went downtown. Was that Shoretown? Was that called there?
Asbury Park.
Asbury Park. We went out there
Good
to some
food.
clubs. Well, you're familiar with the ish.
I was there for like 2.5 weeks.
Right. And then we went back, and then we went to Timo kept saying that it was a D3 football. Monmouth University apparently is D1. And we went to a football game there. There was only one side of the stands, and there was 3 people in the student section, and they still got smacked. It was like a really high-scoring game.
What a great D1 team, everybody.
But apparently that was the first game that like his family's ever been to either. And his sister, your sister's a senior, right? Yeah. So we did that, and then we caught a train. So we drank, and we were drinking all day at this
As you
tailgate.
do.
We were deleting beers in front of a very family-friendly tailgate.
Take any college football tailgate you've been to and just reduce that by about 500%, and that's kind of what the tailgate was.
Yeah,
like.
it wasn't anything crazy. We probably drank more in the short amount of time we were out there than I think maybe half of the parking lot combined. Like, no one was really doing much, and there wasn't any music playing. People were just literally standing.
That sounds depressing. This is like the HOA's dream version of a tailgate.
No, I think it's saying talk
No,
more.
talk
into it.
closer to the mic.
Yeah, you gotta kind of have to like go in and out. I'm sorry, I'm holding mine, so I don't have to use the
I don't want to
stand.
be rotating this shit.
You're fine.
No, it's not going anywhere.
No, yeah,
It just swings back and forth.
sort of. You do have to be careful with this thing right here, but you'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Anyways, so we did that. So then we caught a train. It was about an hour and a half train from Long Branch, New Jersey, into Penn Station. And then, we didn't go on the subway? No, because Penn Station was right next to where we were going. So we walked a couple blocks over to some bar. No idea. My phone at this point's on like 5%. I didn't fucking charge it. So what I did is this wonderful. Was he Irish, British, Scottish? What was he?
He was Irish, and when asked, where are you from, he said Ireland, and Dylan replied, yeah, no shit, where in Ireland are you from?
Well, anyways, very, very nice man. For some reason, Dylan had told him prior to me showing up that I wanted a Cosmopolitan for my drink, and he was very adamant on giving me that, and I didn't want. So I ended up not getting it. Anyways, I asked him if he had a charger, and I literally, out of the full trust of this complete stranger I've never met, handed him my phone, and he had it for like an hour behind the bar. From there, we went across town to was it
Greenwich Village.
Yep. And sorry, I don't really know much New York. We just kind of bounced around. And we went to some bar who had a band that was. It just reminded me of like a 90s or early 2000s like punk rock underground show.
It reminded me of the Guitar Hero cover bands that you
Yes,
play for.
100%. That's exactly what it reminded me. And it was pretty. I mean, they played really good music, but that bar got pretty packed pretty quick. And then we ended up. We were there for pretty much the whole time, and then.
Chicken shawarma was throw up number 1, which was right after that bar.
Yeah.
Lord.
We left that bar,
Lord.
and I got some street chicken shawarma, which was delicious, while John's storing up the first time. And then we went somewhere, and then we ended up taking tequila shots. No, was it tequila? Yeah, it was. It was Tremana. Tequila shots on the side of the
He was
street.
really pushing Hennessy.
Yeah,
We did
yeah.
not.
For what was it? It was like $25 or something like that for 6 tequila shots.
I don't remember. I was not there mentally.
You got to be careful. This thing might fall off. Just be wary of that down there. But yeah. So we took tequila shots from this guy. I forget what his fucking Instagram thing was. It was really funny. It was a pun on drinking. He's literally just walking around New York with a cooler full of booze. selling them to people. And it was technically cheaper than what we would have paid for at a bar, but
Yeah, because that's whenever I was in New York, that was the thing that I hated the absolute most, that it was like $7 to $8 for a singular can of domestic beer.
yeah.
Like, the prices in New York are insane. I don't
Well,
see
yeah.
how.
I honestly, to me, and I'll get to this towards the end. So then we ended up at another bar, where by this time it was really fucking late, and
Point A to point B took about 4.5 hours. And for those of you who are aware, we went from Greenwich Village back to Manhattan. That took us about 4.5 hours
yeah,
because we only went to 2 bars.
I know we really only went to 2 bars. Well, we had that pizza. We did stop and get pizza that some dude. So they ran out of regular pizza. So Dylan had asked the man who did not speak English. Had asked the man if he could have a pizza that has red sauce on it. So this man,
He was just implying a plain slice of cheese pizza.
right, because
But where's the sauce?
yeah. So this man gets a white pizza and puts cold marinara on it and gives it to him, and then he just gives one to John too, and John didn't even order it.
What on God's creation?
Yeah.
I thought New York was supposed to be the home of pizza.
Nah,
not the
well,
home
not that
of-
place. I'll tell you that. That was a fucking bold one.
It looked like a reconverted Subway. And by Subway, I mean the sandwich shop.
Yeah. So we went to the next bar and we were sitting there. We had a couple more beers and it got time where everyone was getting tired. So we ordered an Uber and went back. We actually the hotel that we stayed at that our buddies had gotten was it was in New Jersey. So we took we took an Uber all the way back here.
Oh my God.
And then we woke up, went to a diner, and then we went back to Monmouth to get my car, and we drove back here. But I will say though, after going out in New York, not that interesting, to be honest.
I think if we stayed at the first place, it would have been a lot better. But that means we wouldn't have got to meet the gypsies.
I
either.
forgot about the gypsies. Yeah, we
Yeah.
did get our fucking our shit red,
Damn.
palms red
So
for
who's,
gypsies.
Who's dying first, boys?
Well, actually, she said that Timo was not going to die on deployment, so that's good.
Damn, you lucked out.
Unfortunately for me, she did tell me that. She told me a lot of other interesting things, but it was cool, Eric. You would have liked it because it was a family ordeal. And I think I made the point in the other podcast. Like when you turn 18, it's like, Mom, I want to go to college. It's like, no, you're going to scam people and read their palms on the street. But it was a whole family ordeal. So we had, as the song implies, gypsy women, la da dee, la da da, reading our palms. So I think there was a third daughter. You know, and I know.
That was the one that I had.
Oh no! So I had
the-
grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dylan
had
had
mom.
the daughter of the grandma, and I had the granddaughter.
yeah. So gypsy woman. Yeah.
Yeah, and we did it literally. We didn't even go inside. Well, we didn't. You were inside. Dylan and I just did it out on the fucking metal steps.
So
Outside.
My question for you, Stephen, if you had the granddaughter, was she single?
Not applicable. That's not the way to say it.
Non-applicable.
You
I'm
wouldn't.
just going off the.
Not me. Okay, so personally, not me.
I'm trying to segue.
One, she talked like Sammy Sprinkler. And two, she, I don't know. It wasn't the,
I think Eric is implying if she was attractive or not.
no.
Really? I was drunk. I don't remember.
I mean, out of the three, she was definitely the best, but it was a hard, if you had to choose out of the three, okay, it would be a hard
I'm always
decision.
going grandma.
Any Hoosers,
Gilf.
she hit me with some fucking facts though on mine. She looked at me and she was like, I'm not even gonna bring it up, but
Ooh, secrets.
yeah, no, I could tell you off air, but I'm not gonna bring it up. But it was like a hard. It was like the minute that happened, I was like, oh fuck. I was like, here we go, and I think I cried for a second. I can't remember. But yeah, so but I will say that New York, honestly, yeah, it's a cool city to visit. I could never live there. I couldn't live there. You couldn't pay me to live in that city, man.
So my personal take on it, from being a good old country boy from down south,
Whenever no peace there.
Whenever I spent my 2.5 weeks in Jersey with the military, we took a couple day trips into New York, and I really enjoyed New York. John, he hyped it up a lot, and he said he was making it out to be like an evil, disgusting place, which it
kind of is.
I feel
though.
like that's the popular consensus. And don't get me wrong, it is pretty disgusting, and it is pretty wacky and zany
and goofy
and pretty goofy, pretty silly sometimes.
And occasionally might take a little nap.
But my personal take on it was I actually really enjoyed New York. Take a little nappy nap. Take a little nappy nap in the subway.
Oh, I forgot about the subway. So
everybody has a subway story. That's what I've realized about New York culture. Everybody has a subway story, and I was only there for 2 days, and I've got a subway story.
Yeah. Well, no, because so the second time he threw up was on the platform. It wasn't even like on the tracks or in a trash can. It was on the fucking platform.
I was right next to a trash can. Someone had to move me. You should have grabbed me about
you
the
were also it was neck. On the edge like the
stairs.
The stairs, yeah. So the stairs go down and there's a railing at the top that goes around it so people don't fall in it. This man's throwing up on the railing right there. Man, people are walking up. It's definitely splashing on people.
Man, forget mind the gap, mind the vomit.
Yeah, it was rough. And then, so that was New York.
But no, my New York experience, was that your first time to New York?
No, not my first time being 21 in New York.
Yeah.
Not my first time in New York, no.
So generally as an adult going to New York, it wasn't bad. Like for my first couple of experiences, I really enjoyed it. I have a little bit different of a take on it, and it might just be, again, referring back to a good old country boy, never seen a big city before. You couldn't pay me to live there long term, but I could consider living there for maybe like 4 to 6 months.
Okay.
Mainly just because I really enjoyed my time, and New York, you see it in media, people tell you about it, and in your mind, it's massive. In reality, it's really not that big. But at the same time, there's so much culture there that's where it gets I guess the mental size from. Like the city itself is really not that big. Like it takes you 20 minutes to walk from each side of the Hudson to the Bay or whatever it is.
I mean, if you were moving, yeah.
But
it's really not that big. But there's so much culture and there's so much stuff to do, like literally every 500 feet that
I wouldn't even say 500 feet. It's probably less than that.
It's probably less than that, honestly. Yeah. Like there's a lot there that you could probably really get into and really enjoy, but you're not going to see everything or even get a fraction of what all is in New York, even if you're there for 2 weeks on a vacation or something. But I wouldn't live there long term, no, because the pricing is ridiculous. I didn't have that many bad experiences with people. Everybody was generally pretty nice. The crime has gotten very bad. The homeless
crime is bad everywhere now.
Well, I don't know. While I was in New York, there was a person that they found that was dismembered and found in a suitcase, and it wasn't the first time. This is apparently a serial murder that's been going on. Apparently there's this guy that they have not been able to catch that's chopping people up and putting them into suitcases.
Does Law and Order know about this?
No, but I did pass by one of their shoot locations while I was in New York. Yeah, I took a picture of it and everything because we were walking. I think it actually might have been in Greenwich Village. We were
Greenwich.
Sorry, Greenwich Village. Old country's coming out. But Greenwich Village, we were walking down the street, and they had those little signs posted up saying, hey, no parking, Law and Order SVU, shoot location from 7 to 8 or something. And I was like, wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. I was like, oh, if we come back, we can be a background character.
Yeah. Well, yes, so that's everything New York. Now let's get back to the e-girl topic.
No, you go ahead, John.
Oh, no, I mean, I was going to say, but it's more of a segue, so you go ahead.
So the segue I was trying to make earlier before we had to wrap up our thoughts on New York.
Yeah,
was,
the 30 seconds turned into 20 minutes, FYI.
Yeah.
So I knew that was going to happen, which is fine, That was more clear than when we were talking about it on the Halloween episode because we were going way back and forth on that one.
good recap for the listeners who got really confused last episode.
Yeah.
No, so going back, I would say that despite that one gypsy girl probably being like a sober 3 out of 10 from what I'm picking up of what you guys saying. Oh, a little bit lower.
Bump it down a little bit there.
Ugh. I still potentially might hit that smash button because something about
Gypsy?
not even a gypsy, because I feel like that's a culturally sensitive term.
Is it?
Traveler.
Yeah, traveler. Well,
It's gypsy. Isn't Aladdin a fucking gypsy?
Pause. No, Aladdin is so far from a gypsy. Gypsies are Romanian. Aladdin.
I didn't think that it was. I thought that it.
No,
I didn't think that it was specific to a culture.
No, it's an ethnic group. So okay,
I thought it was just. I thought it was just a lifestyle.
It's like how Jewish is a religion and an ethnic group. Do you
okay,
understand?
I do get that. Yes, but I didn't. But I thought gypsy was a lifestyle.
But okay. Well, it's a nomadic lifestyle,
right?
But it's not like we have a lot of people out here converting to being a gypsy.
No, it's just like not a wayfinder, but
Hitler considered them an ethnic group. So take
that
as you will.
Well, I did know that, but Hitler also considered literally everything as bad.
That is true.
Like there was not a thing besides basically fucking Aryan race shit. Anything outside of that was bad. It just was in his eyes. So it didn't really matter if it was an ethnic group or if it was a social class or if it was anything. It was like if he didn't like you, he would. That's just kind of how it went.
Dead to the chamber.
Right. So
you do not pass go. You do not get $200. You go straight to the gas chamber.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up. But
sorry, we'll have to put that on Patreon.
Yeah. So would you consider yourself? So has there been a
canceled before we even fucking start here?
Have you considered yourself like more of an e-girl connoisseur or like a goth girl connoisseur? Because I've lived with you before, and it seems to go back and forth.
So this is my question: what's the difference?
So, let me
call my expert.
The enthusiast himself.
Yeah, the enthusiast himself. Let me put on my my reading glasses here and look very professional. So, a lot of it comes down to personal taste.
Okay.
There is a difference between e-girls.
What does the E stand for?
Electronic. So
are they real?
Yes and no.
Okay,
So
I see you. I see now.
The difference comes. So goth girls are your stereotypical like emo. I wouldn't even say emo.
Wouldn't emo be its own thing?
Emo's kind of its own thing, but nowadays emo's kind of blended in with goth girls. Because emo, you think like the 90s and the early 2000s, like they were their own thing, and you had that weird like scene phase in the or in the middle 2000s, like when we were all in high school, the scene.
No, I get it. Yeah.
But that's kind of evolved into the goth girl as like overall a very all-encompassing personality.
So this isn't so the common misconception, I think, generally speaking, that when I would say that if you pick someone off the street, just at random, and said, "Hey, describe a goth girl," they're probably gonna say something along the lines of like black hair, black nails, like black makeup. Like, is that what a goth girl is, or is that just a small subset of that?
Corporate wants you to describe the difference between these two pictures. They're the same fucking picture. I always think of the Hex Girls from What's New Scooby-Doo.
That's a good way. That's a good way of putting it. So yeah, like a goth girl, like if you think about it on the surface, like it's an emo girl. But goth is just like the new slang for it, I suppose. So if you think of your stereotypical goth girl or emo girl, she's probably a goth girl in 2022, 2023. there's a little bit more. It goes a little bit deeper. Going back to the gypsy part.
Oh, okay.
So nowadays, with so many people getting into crystals and tarot and trying to find their old new spirituality, that's where goth girls kind of separate themselves into a subsection, because your true goth girl.
Yeah, we need a board. We need a board with string that we can attach, like we're trying to solve a murder.
I need my It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Was it the Pepe, whatever it was, trying to find what Pepe Slider, I think his name was. Just
I think I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember
that bit from It's Always Sunny. But no, I need to have a political compass chart, but for goth girls.
Yeah. I was gonna say a Venn diagram, but I feel like actually a Venn diagram might work. You may just have a lot of circles.
Well, a Venn diagram would actually work with the differences between a goth girl and an emo girl pretty well.
Okay.
That would actually work really well. But no, back to what I was saying. So now goth girls are into the crystals, the tarots, not really palm reading, because palm reading is kind of like a super old school thing. You still find them. Astrology is a big one. A lot of people are into astrology now.
Well, I feel like literally everyone's in it now.
Everybody's into astrology now. I mean, it's pretty neat.
My sign said that I was gonna wake up this morning. Whoa.
Well, that's not what your sign. That would be like a tarot pull.
Whatever.
So
but that's how fucking vague half the shit is. Or it's like wow, that's that. So he really beat me for real.
My own personal interpretation on it is that it's a good critical thinking exercise. That's why I like astrology and tarot, because tarot it's supposed to, on the surface, predict future events that may happen, or even stuff that you're dealing with. But it is very good of giving you, it's like creative writing almost. It'll give you prompts to think on.
Yeah.
And you're like, how does this apply to my life? And it makes you reflect a little bit.
And honestly, that point right there is why I'm not totally against it. Because although a lot of it is vague, but a lot of it does make you think and self-reflect about our life. I mean, look at him and I, for example. We had our palms read, and we haven't stopped talking about it since.
Oh no, I've fully bought into that.
Like, we have been processing it and like building our thoughts off of that, because it provoked us to think about something.
But on the other hand, refer
in
to...
a positive light, too.
Yeah,
it made
that's
us
fair.
think in a positive light.
But on the other hand, refer to the fortune teller episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender, when she said, you'll meet the love of your life wearing red shoes. And Sokka's like, well, if you wear red shoes for every day in the rest of your life, of course you are.
True.
That's where manifesting comes in. But that's a whole other thing that I'm not...
If we're bringing up that Avatar episode... She did predict something extremely true, and it was Suki, right?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Whose fortune was it?
It was for Sokka.
I don't remember. No, see, he didn't. I don't think he got his right.
No, then it was Suki.
She said that Katara will marry a very powerful bender.
Yes, but which I get, yeah.
So she fucked the Avatar.
Right. No, what I'm saying is it's Suki, right? I'm saying that right. It's been a while since I watched it. Suki is the character I'm thinking of that married or that was with Sokka.
If I remember correctly, she did actually predict that she was going to turn into the moon goddess.
That's not who I'm talking about.
That would be Yue.
That's Yue. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the reason why Sokka never, like, we don't see him in, at least in the core series, or like when they talk about him, they don't ever say that he married, because it was his fortune or something was like, the love of your life will die, and it was Suki, and I
don't think that was spoken in the episode, but Suki does prematurely pass away. Yes,
it is. It's in the lore, and that was predicted by that chick in that episode. It's background lore. I'm pretty sure it was predicted at some point during the course of events, and it happened in the book. So she was right. I know it's just fucking writing, and I could write that, but still, she was right.
I just remember the meme where Sokka and
we're getting real weeb here.
Sokka and Zuko were in the blimp, and Zuko's like, "Rough day, buddy," or maybe I'm thinking of it wrong, but it's like rough day, buddy. It's like, well, my girlfriend turned into the moon.
Yeah.
He was talking about May, and then his dad, he was like, my first girlfriend turned to the moon. And he was like,
Oh,
that's rough, buddy.
Yeah. I feel that.
But no, trying to get back on track here.
Yeah.
So I can't remember exactly where we left off, but
We left off where it was like yesterday's emos, today's goth type of deal.
yeah. So that is correct. Goth only separates itself when you get into like the more spirituality aspect of it. If they're super like spiritual, let me tell you, fellas, there's something about a woman who can look you dead in the eyes, and you just have to give her a couple bits of information about yourself, and she can almost nail your personality down to a T. Let me tell you, that does something to you if you get a good one.
Okay. And we'll take it from the man himself. This has been very educational so far, by the way.
This also crosses my mind. I believe that you had once a curse put on you.
Ooh.
I am unsure about the validity of that. There has been two true blue goth, or I guess I should say true black goth girls
What's that?
that I have encountered in my days.
Is that like
I
a
think he means like 100% goth girl.
like a
Like 100% no cap for real. Like
no glizzy?
definitely no glizzy. No, that's like rocks.
Yeah, but what does it mean? What the fuck are crystals? You just kind of passed over that, and I wanted to say something, but I forgot about it till just now.
So if you
The fuck are those?
if you know kind of deal. No, I'm kidding.
Like, what are they used for? Is
So
this some
they're-
spiritual?
It's more in the lines of manifesting. So manifesting is like you're almost think of it in like Christianity or any other, like you pray for something to happen.
So you use a crystal.
Manifesting, it kind of. Manifesting, from my understanding, I'm not super knowledgeable on the manifesting part, but manifesting is just like you're not praying, but you're just hoping for something to go in your life, go how you want it to. Like,
Okay, yeah.
say you want to ace a test, so you just think really hard, hey, I'm going to ace this test. I'm going to
Okay, so like it's like you think or you speak it into existence. We say that all the time.
Exactly.
And I guess that is kind of what it is. Okay.
The crystals only really come in because, and that's a whole nother rabbit hole, because some people take it super far and some people only kind of take it superficially.
I mean, I'm definitely fascinated by it all,
it
but
is
I
very-
feel like
it's
it's not a
very-
world that I would.
It's very interesting. I'm not super big on the crystals because if you really want to go deep in the crystals, like, and that's what I meant when I said rocks, because crystals are like rocks, so like peridots, amethyst, like geodes, rare gems and stuff. That's what I mean when I say crystals. The most popular one being amethyst, because amethyst has like it's supposed to purify your soul.
I was gonna say, does it have like natural healing
So
abilities? or
the
something
people
like
who are big into rocks, like big rock people, they will even go down to breaking it down in the sense that like natural or rare earth gems and things like that have like a harmonic frequency with the universe, and that's how they work.
that? So this is like spiritual geology.
Essentially, and that's like two levels above where I'm at. I don't get into that aspect of it, but they use it in that way. Like the one goth girl that I was mentioning previously, like she slept with an amethyst under her pillow, so it would like kind of like how Native Americans use dream catchers.
That's okay. All right, so that is a good correlation. That's making more sense. See, I'm learning a lot here.
Yeah, and she also would wear an amethyst on a necklace for the same reason. Like it would keep like bad spirits, and not bad spirits because that's like Native American, but like bad energy away, because it all has to do with energy.
Can you OD on amethyst? And I think you're kind of skirting our question here of, is there a curse on you?
Yes.
Not that I know of yet. I think I broke it, or it might have just been.
So there was a curse.
I just had, after a bad experience with one said goth girl, I had a series of unfortunate events happen to me in a very short time point. Very good book series. Not a very good Netflix adaptation.
No.
But I had a very short series of unfortunate events happened to me. I'm like, I wonder if she might have cursed me. And that was pretty much the start and the end of it. Now, my uncle actually did get cursed, and he actually had to
Is
go.
he into e-girls too?
He was talking to some crazy lady at some point. I don't remember because this was a while ago, but I remember like he had to actually go to a medium and have her break the curse because this girl, like, he got into a car wreck. Like, whenever I say I had a series of unfortunate events, like, they were like mildly unfortunate events, like my car breaking and like
Yeah,
minor,
I got you.
minor,
But it wasn't like life-threatening.
It wasn't life-threatening and
Yeah.
detrimental to me, which is why I'm kind of hesitant to say it was a curse, because it might have just been my brain making something out of nothing. But I would still refer to it as there may have potentially been a curse on me.
Have you watched Game of Thrones?
No.
Well, what about the other girl referred to like my senior year of college that you were
What's
hanging
the Game
out
of Thrones
with?
thing?
You'll see.
Okay, gotcha.
The one that you came home one day and you were like, I've met this girl and she did some unspeakable things.
Oh, yeah. That was the girl that had a Ouija board above her bed frame.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we're gonna pass.
So no, if you
on
catch
that
my drift though,
one.
Steven, refer to when Renly Baratheon got it. And you know the red lady did that thing with the thing, and the thing came out.
Yeah,
That's what I'm picturing.
Yeah.
I don't like the way that was phrased. He did the thing and the thing came out.
Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I can assure you nothing came out.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Nothing came.
That's very good.
Nothing came out. I was just very. I don't even know where to go.
Yeah.
But yes, that girl.
Anyways, so
she did have a Ouija board above her bed, and that made me feel some kind of way. It wasn't in the best way, I'll be completely honest, because she also had a little. This is another thing we can go into with goth girls.
Oh,
that
God.
I don't know anything about, but potions are a thing. And
I was what was I? I was like a level like 39 in Skyrim when making potions. So
that's how
I know a little bit.
That's how I maxed out my potion or my alchemy skill.
But that was also like 14 years ago.
But
when I played
It's
Skyrim.
actually the 11th anniversary of Skyrim release.
Is it right now? No way. Okay, so it was 11 years ago then.
Today is 11/11/22, and it came out on 11/11/11.
Man,
What a fucking day.
man, I'm old.
Damn. 11 years.
But yeah, she had a little table set up in her room where she actually had skulls and some bone fragments of small animals and was making potions.
Did she collect them or kill them?
Did she get them herself?
Yeah, I gotta know this because if she's a hunter-gatherer, she might be a keeper.
I didn't ask about that. She also had an OnlyFans. So
That's a note. So that's an instant red flag for me. Only not for like personal preference, because there's two different ways to take it. So like some people, and I respect the people that are like that can separate their personalities from and like for business and pleasure. It's when you're doing it for pleasure is when I'm like you're not dating material for me. Like I wouldn't consider you as like for a date. Because if you do it for strictly business, understandable, completely. Because you do make money. You can make a living off of it. It's actually humanity's like oldest profession.
hey man, I just say
But when you're doing it for pleasure and not for work, then is where I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm really vibing with you.
I'm just saying, ladies, keep doing what you do. You're doing God's work.
I've never actually been on OnlyFans. We got a friend that habitually buys it.
Ooh, RIP bank account. But keep doing
Not
what
habitually. He just kind of like we'll ask and he'll or not. We won't ask, but someone in the group will be like, "Yo, so and so, has got an OnlyFans," and he'll be like, "I know,"
Bet.
and we're like, "What?"
But yeah, so yeah, keep doing what you're doing, ladies. You're doing God's work. But that's a whole nother episode topic to deal with, because I feel like I covered in a very brief brief minute, goth girls. I want to hit on e-girls because they are separate. Before we wrap up, so I want to hit on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because I do want to hear. So we've talked about the past. Let's talk about the present.
So yes, we are in the future. We are officially
Yeah.
in cyberpunk.
We're heading there.
We are heading there. So that's where the e-girls come in.
Okay.
So you asked what the E in e-girls stand for, and I wish it stood for Eric, but it doesn't. Ha jokes.
Wow.
Sorry, that was
that was a good laugh. That was a good laugh. Well, I don't know. Because I could hear it IRL, not through the headset.
But so the E is electronic. So now that we are in the future, a thing that we've seen a lot in. So let's take a step back in the past real quick. So your e-girls, they deviated from like the goth girl scene phase when like modern video games and like around the mid 2010s, when YouTube started blowing up, like the internet really took off, and you really started seeing it when Twitch got really popular, because e-girls, electronic girls, are women who like develop personalities that are entirely online. You know, they're your like quote unquote quirky gaming types. Think I guess technically the most popular e-girl right now is Amaranth. She's a streamer on Twitch.
Did you hear the controversy behind her? I actually know who you're talking about, but
is that the girl that's always when I go on Twitch, like I go to watch my RuneScape content? It's like the first recommended person.
Yeah,
I've never once clicked on it, but is she the one that is she the one that like sits in a kiddie pool?
Yeah. So did you know that her husband? Well, I guess now they're going through divorce, but her husband was like forcing her to do that.
Oh yeah. So
it was like really fucked up.
It's really fucked up. If you guys want a quick
you
refresher video, go watch Moist Critical. He did a really good video covering it.
Yeah, it was fucked up. I feel bad for
it.
her.
Was really fucked up. But yeah, she is the most popular Twitch streamer. She is probably the one that you always see on your recommended
100%.
page.
Yeah, it is.
And she also is.
It's not even for you. It's just like the most popular page when you go on the home screen of Twitch. It's usually
and she also has the most profitable OnlyFans account. She is like the number one OnlyFans content provider.
I thought it was that one actress. What was her name?
Oh no!
Oh my god! It was fuck. I can't remember what her name was.
I'm sure it'll come back.
She made like millions of dollars within
a
couple days.
Amaranth.
Oh, it was like a couple
Bella
days.
Thorne.
Bella Thorne. Is she an actress?
Well, if you include Disney Channel and a couple Netflix specials, then yes.
Okay. Well, I didn't know. I honestly don't really know of her. I just know that I remember that being a headline of like.
I think we read the same article. That's the only reason I know that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I just remember that being a headline when it comes to OnlyFans and making money. I don't look too much into OnlyFans.
It was probably that, or
although I wouldn't. I like I said, like I'm not against people doing that. I respect it. I respect the hustle. I could be friends with people that do it, but I just wouldn't date someone that does it for pleasure and not for work.
What's her name?
So,
that sold
that's
her,
just my opinion.
Sold her bath water.
Belle Delphine.
She also
wasn't there a girl that was selling farts?
Yes, and she had to go to the hospital because she was eating like so much protein and beans, like it caused intestinal problems.
Jesus Christ!
But yeah, she was selling her farts and canning them.
Crazy. People buy fucking anything.
They
man.
will. I'm a mailman. I know people will buy fucking anything.
Yeah.
But no, so that's what differentiates. That's kind of the big key factors on an e-girl.
So it's just kind of like your modern like a girl that's created an internet personality, essentially.
Essentially.
I think I've been thinking about this the entire time. So you remember like the I don't know what it's called.
That makes sense.
The whole RAR XD thing.
Yeah.
Those types of girls. I think that was the initial split in the goth girl e-girl civil war.
Yeah.
And then they got
They're all
government
pretty cordial
funding.
now.
They got government funding and then evolved into e-girls.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's a good way of putting it. Where they like the proto-genesis where they split. Because a lot of them like now in 2022, 2023, They have Twitch channels. They typically have an OnlyFans.
Women have jobs.
Oh my god.
That is not very 2022, 2023 thing of you to say there, Mr. John. Listen, if you knew how much money some of these women make on
Women are
Twitch
powerful, man.
and OnlyFans, like
Listen,
it is.
I don't think anyone has ever I think people realize this, but people like neglect to say it out loud. Women really do run the world.
And they know it.
They fucking know.
So
Well,
I think
yeah.
I think a lot of people's initial problem with the whole OnlyFans thing was the taxes. But now they're paying taxes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because of how much it's bracket based, obviously. But
Yeah.
oh, I think you pay state tax too. Actually,
You still pay state tax.
yeah.
But yeah,
it's like full employment.
it's taxed now. But that's where
And they dropped the whole non-nudity. You know when they were trying to
Oh
go to the
yeah,
thing where they were trying to.
and OnlyFans was like, actually, we're not going to allow nudity content. And
they
then
dropped that.
and then everybody was like, well, you're not going to have a business
Yeah, and then they dropped that.
because they realized, wow, we really aren't going to have a business.
Well, OnlyFans would have been cool as like a kind of like Patreon type deal.
that's what it was originally going for, was
Right.
like a competitor.
But
to
now
put
you
Patreon.
can't put shit on there that's not.
No, I mean,
sexual
there's
content,
there's
to be
still
honest.
people that try to make an OnlyFans that's like for like actual
Yeah,
like
and when I mean sexual content, I don't mean just nudity. I mean just like generally erotic content.
ooh, words are hard.
Yeah.
Like people still try to post non-erotic content on OnlyFans. It doesn't do
nearly
as well because OnlyFans just has that image now.
Yeah.
Because like if you're on Instagram and like someone,
like
if
Tinder,
you
too.
if you're on someone's Instagram page and you see like an OnlyFans link in their bio, you're not going there expecting them to be like crocheting sweaters.
Yeah.
That they're selling.
Well, it's kind of like how like Tinder. So like Tinder was intended to be just a quick way to get dates, and now
Hookup culture.
so it's a complete change. Like if someone mentions Tinder or mentions that they're on Tinder or that they met someone on Tinder, it usually means that they're like you genuine or your mind goes straight to, oh, they're just hooking up. Like he's just on there, she's just on there to hook up. That's all. It's not really dating. That's why you get these other apps that are trying to be like, we're meant for dating, like
Bumble and Hinge.
Hinge. Yeah, Hinge is a big one because it's very unorthodox. I don't really know anything about Bumble.
Bumble, it's kind of like what Tinder was trying to be, because it's still reserved a little bit more for dating. The kind of the catch for Bumble is that women make the first move.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Whenever you match with somebody, the girl has to message you first, which as a stupid boy, that really takes a lot of anxiety out of my day, because typically if they're interested, they will message you. And if they're not interested, they won't.
Yeah.
Wow,
okay.
funny how that works. You won't just get ghosted and left on red. I mean,
Yeah.
it still does happen, but also it's very funny. I've seen a couple of TikToks about it, but women want to say all this about like, man, why don't guys say anything other than like hey or hi? And
then the girl
and then
says,
they literally turn around and do the same
Hey.
exact thing.
Yeah.
Hey.
No, I get it, man, dude. But a simple hey, a simple hey could change a lot.
It could. Small world.
I think this is actually excellent to do our first media reading because earlier my buddy, I guess his recently got on Tinder, and he sent me a conversation between him and a girl, and I'm not going to name him, but if you're listening, you know who you are. I'm not going to dox him because this is pretty funny. Like, I start out by saying my buddy says, I start out by saying something super out of pocket or cheesy. Which one do you prefer? She says, out of pocket. He says, damn, girl, are your parents retarded? Because you're pretty damn special.
Damn, that's a good one.
Well, that's also kind of like
Riz.
you don't know what you're gonna
Riz.
get with that one though, because that one's a total 50-50, because you're either gonna get like, wow, you're so insensitive, because that's insensitive as fuck, or you're gonna get the reaction of, wow, okay, I've never heard that one before. Let's talk.
That is like my new favorite pastime, though, is just like getting on Tinder and matching with somebody and making like the most unhinged comment that
Yeah.
I can conjure up. And if I get a bite out of that, I'm like, well, you're a keeper.
Yeah.
Because if you can deal with me being completely unhinged, something special, but or you're funny.
I get that.
If you're funny, then
I get
you're in
that.
the pocket.
That whole culture is not really for me. I don't really like that.
I haven't been on Tinder
stuff,
in a couple of years because I'm in a relationship. But I used to use Tinder as like a psychoanalyze people because like I knew nothing was going to come from Tinder, so I would like low key. I wouldn't call it gaslighting because that's not real. You're just crazy. I would just like ask questions that I feel like I would ask somebody like on a first date and then get their response and then use it at the bars. But you said the word unhinged, Eric. What do you like? What's your opinion on the entire male population, 18 to 25, collectively losing their shit at the same time? It's like right now. Yeah.
It's right now, and I'm completely on, as a completely unhinged individual myself, I am completely on board with more people being open and honest about their unhingedness. Now we can just,
I get that.
we can just collectively.
Well, I'm on that path now. So I'm 100% on the path of just being completely open and honest with how completely unhinged my life is currently.
Yes.
But listen, man, everyone goes through those phases.
Well, that's the best part.
We will endure.
Listen, man.
We will endure.
My
what is dead may never die.
All
my
I'm saying
favorite
is
fucking
my
saying
mouth
from that
gets
show.
real itchy sometimes, and I'm glad I can share it with other people.
Yeah. No, it is definitely a thing. And we were talking about that, and people would just kind of like losing their mind. Are you all right there?
I'm on a roll tonight, fellas.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's pretty much the big differentiating factor between goth girls and e-girls.
You know what? I'm sorry to cut you off there. I didn't really mean to, but this was super educational.
I was about to say this was extremely informative, and I already know we're gonna like name this episode. They write a fucking Wikipedia page on this shit.
Because I know absolutely nothing on that topic. I learned a lot of things. So
are we gonna close it out here?
Oh yeah, we can go ahead and close it out because we're coming up on an hour.
Yeah. So I would like to state that so we do a thing here where our guests do the outro.
Yes.
But I'm going to say this has been the Alpha Club. We might not be the best source to hear it from, but you're still listening, so thanks for that. So, Eric, close us out.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Well, fellas, thanks for having me on tonight. Glad you learned something. I'm at the tip of the iceberg. Like, if we really wanted to go into it, like, those iceberg conspiracy theory videos, like I could have taken it down to the depths. Yeah.
You can get with me offline.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. This might be a part.
We could write a book. Oh, a part 2 might not. Part 2 might be in the works for sure.
This would definitely be a part 2. I'll bring.
This was enjoyable.
I'll bring the whiteboard in, but yeah, thanks for having me on, fellas. Hope to do this a little bit more. If you're currently listening and you're either a goth girl or a e-girl, hit me up. Let me know.
All right.
I will let you curse me anytime you actually. Please don't curse me. Please don't.
Well, there could be a good curse, right?
No, there's no good curses. But yeah, don't curse me, please. I've done it once, not again. Bye.